I'm in Edmonton at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton. We're here for their Pipes Night. It's a first-time event that should prove very interesting. We've had some hot dogs and some beverages, and now we're going to look at some motor clothes. And I'm being joined by the general manager of the Motorclothes department, Kristen. You're watching Ride Like a Local with Belt Drive Betty. Voted as Canada's most rider-friendly community of the 2016 riding season is Port Alberni, British Columbia, home to one of the longest-running toy runs in Canada, the Port Alberni Toy Run. Bordered on the east by the Beaufort Mountains and on the west by the Pacific Ocean, the Vancouver Island Riders' Paradise, Port Alberni, is Canada's most rider-friendly community. Visit www.portalberni.ca to find out more.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. So tell me, what is your most favorite part of your job?
My most favorite, I gotta say the people.
Yeah?
Meet the greatest people from all over, everywhere, all over the world. People come in and we get to hear their stories, which I really enjoy.
Sounds like there might be a budding writer inside of you.
I don't know, maybe a few years ago, but.
So tell me a little bit about the Motorclothes department. What do you do in here? What kind of things do you carry that you think riders should be knowing about at this time of the year?
Absolutely. We carry kind of a little bit of everything, but what we really take pride in is the technology and the Harley-Davidson riding gear. Harley's always been leaders in technology as far as safety goes. They really want the riders to be riding for longer periods of time in whatever weather they can. So this time of year when it gets finally hot in Alberta, we do sell, mesh gear. When it's raining, we got the good rain suits. You can pack up really small and make sure you can keep going no matter what hits you. Then soon we're going to be getting into heated gear and making sure everybody's comfortable for the fall to ride a little bit longer too. So,
how do you fit people for leather gear? How do you look after them? Are there any tips or tricks that you like to impart upon your customer?
Absolutely. We're really big on making sure that fit is perfect. So we try to, a lot of times we put the clothing on the customer to make sure that they are fitting it the right way. We get kind of touchy-feely. We make sure that it is fitting properly. It's hard to fit a helmet on another person just by asking questions. So we do kind of get in there and feel. The biggest trick and tip for helmet fitting is going to be put the helmet on, put your hand on either side of their head and kind of just move it around. If the skin moves, you're good. If the helmet's moving on its own, it's probably a little bit loose.
Right. So, how long have you been with Harley-Davidson of Edmonton now?
About 6.5 years.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot of change in 6.5 years.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've been part of it and embraced it and keep on going with it.
Out of all the motorcycles that are in this dealership, is there one that has caught your eye?
It's always the Heritage. Always has been, probably always will be.
What color?
The classic teal and white.
How did I know that? I instinctively knew that she would be a 50s style pinup girl.
That's me through and through. Love it.
Well, thank you for taking a little time with me, Kristen.
Anytime. If anybody has any questions, I'm always here. Come down and visit us.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm being joined right now by Michael Tsai here at the beautiful Harley-Davidson of Edmonton. I mean, absolutely, what is your favorite job in the dealership?
Well, my favorite job is the job I have now, selling bikes to customers. Either they're trading up or it's getting their first bike. But yeah, definitely talking to customers and trying to find them a Harley that fits them, that suits them, that looks good on them, and that they're going to enjoy the heck out of.
And how long have you been in sales now?
Well, I'm the new hire, the latest member to the sales team. I started back in March 29th, and I've been working ever since.
So you've been here about 6 months now, just about, and you got your bike license?
Oh yeah, of course.
And do you ride?
Oh yes, I do.
And what do you ride?
I ride a little sporty 883, but you know, it was a great bike to start from. Definitely had a lot of times where I got stuck in a sticky situation, and if it was any other bigger bike, I probably would have, you know, fell or got stuck. But so it was a great bike to kind of practice around, you know, when you're starting. But you know, it definitely is a Harley, so it doesn't matter what it is. You know, it's your first taste of Harley.
So your first bike is a sporty. What do you aspire to have as your next bike?
Well, I had a plan of trading up slowly, step by step, either going to a Dyna and a Softail. But one of the perks of working here is you get to test out every bike that you have on the floor.
Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, home to the Cabot Trail and the Cape Breton Bike Rally. With some of the most magnificent riding and the friendliest of people one can find anywhere, Cape Breton is the runner-up community in Canada's most rider-friendly community contest. Visit CapeBretonBikeRally.com to find out why.
So you thought about going to a Dyna or a Softail or something like that, but you were saying something about the perks of working in a dealership?
Right. So one of the perks is you're surrounded by bikes all the time. You learn more about every single bike, and after a while, you know, all your other uncertainties gets answered, and you kind of find that one true bike that you really want. So, you know, I think it has to do with a lot of my coworkers here, but my next bike would be a Road Glide.
A Road Glide, the man has taste. What do you think, folks? I love the Road Glide. My husband, that's his favorite motorcycle. I myself like the Ultras, and I would like to, my next bike, I want an Ultra Low.
That's a really good bike, especially for riders who are not over 6 feet tall. You know, an Ultra Low would be a great bike to be a decker for a shorter rider, because I think a lot of customer of mine as well, the biggest problem they have with decker is, oh, I'm not tall enough, and I don't think I can handle it. So when you can have both feet flat foot on the ground, you know, definitely take the ease off of it and give them more confidence. I wish they have a Road Glide Low, but hopefully 2019.
You just never know. Harley-Davidson, are you listening? You listen to your customers pretty well, so how about listening to some of them sales staff, eh?
The Spark Business Incubator is located in 214 Place and run by Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region. It can provide a new or expanding business with the supports to be successful. www.gpsparkincubator.ca.
That's what I like to think the highway to hell sounds like. Anyway, thank you guys so much for everything. Go do some shop and treat yourself nice.
I'm with one of my favorite people at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton, Dee. Dee, tell me, you just finished running this Loud Pipes competition / educational time. Whose brainwave?
Actually, it was a combination of Jake, Chris, our parts manager, Kristen in the Motorclothes, something to add to the fashion show. And then they just said, here you go, run with it.
Well, that's not a bad thing. It was very interesting to listen to the pipes from all of the different motorcycles. I really like the Jekyll and Hyde ones.
I definitely like the Jekyll and Hyde. I like the way it's such a smooth transition from quiet. That's our pro pipe.
Okay, you can tell we're at a Harley dealership, and everybody's been listening to revving bikes all night because now they want to ride theirs like crazy. So, what was your favorite part of this evening?
Oh, the end, the rev, the big old rev. That's what gets our hearts beating. That's why we come to Harley-Davidson. That's exactly what it's all about. The sound, the feeling, the energy it creates, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, I look at all of this beautiful iron that's out here, and I'm wondering, is there one bike here in particular that floats your boat?
Yeah, mine's inside. I'm getting some work done, so yeah, that's my favorite. It's a 2003 carbureted Super Glide with the baffles knocked out. It's a nice bike. It's my favorite. I like the 100th anniversary. I favor it because of 100 years of Harley-Davidson.
So your bike is a 2003.
Yep.
And you said the thing you loved about it the most is it was a 100th anniversary bike.
100th anniversary. I really like the design they came out with for the paint and the decals and stuff like that. I like the fact that it's carbureted. I like my carbureted stuff. I like fuel injection, but I'm old school too. So, yeah. And yeah, I just like the looks of it. And the fact that it's 100 years old.
So tell me a little bit about the pipes on that black and white Road Glide.
That one is the stock Harley-Davidson headers with Screaming Eagle. They make the slip-ons for Harley-Davidson. They're called street cannons, so they're slightly louder than stock. They're not going to get you a fine. They're completely legal within the decibel limits at idle speed and high rev. And yeah, and there's black heat shields to make that all come together. That bike there is ridden, if you can believe it, just so people are never afraid of large bikes. It's ridden by a 5'2" woman, very petite.
Yes, she doesn't look like she weighs much more than a New York minute.
I would love to know what a New York minute weighs.
Me too, because it's awful little, I think. She's awfully little. I'm just in love with that color scheme. I love everything about it. So, the pipes night seemed to go over exceedingly well. Do you think that this is going to be something we're going to be seeing again?
I think so. What do you think?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it.
I think you need to get in here too. Neil, what do you do here?
I work in the parts department.
And what is it about working on the parts counter that you enjoy?
Making people's bike their own. So they come with a stock bike and you get to help them make the bike that they want. Change the pipe, changing the bars, customizing it the way they want it.
And you never get cranky customers, do you?
All the time.
Harley-Davidson customers are cranky?
Oh yeah,
Why would they be cranky?
they just are. Prices, parts availability, different reasons.
Oh, now there would be a big one. A partsman having to tell a customer, I'm sorry, we don't have that in right now. That sucks, right?
Yeah.
And what is your favorite thing about working the parts counter? Absolute favorite, besides helping people, you know, with their bikes. There's got to be one person, one thing, one aspect of the job that you enjoy the most.
It's fast paced. You're always busy, always doing something.
Working with me.
Working with D. Sorry, working with D.
He blew it, didn't he, folks? It kind of was like the roof. It went right over his head. I was plugging for that. You knew it. You didn't get it.
It's working with D. That's playing hard to get.
One of the things I love about Harley-Davidson of Edmonton is the staff. They're what makes coming to this dealership all the fun that you can have with your boots on. They will treat you well, they will look after your baby, and they will make sure that you are as happy as you can possibly be.
Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region can assist small business with financing, training, and advisory services. We're here to help small business in rural
So how lucky can a girl get, right? To be sandwiched, literally, between two burly bikers. Like, geez, where else would that happen except the Reynolds Alberta Museum in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, where the guardians of the children have come out to take in this beautiful day. So, why'd you guys come on out, Dragon?
We came out to support our town. We're all from Wetaskiwin, most of us, and other areas. We wanted to get out and let everybody see our patches and let them know that we're around and available if they need us.
And what do the guardians of the children do exactly?
We empower children. We give the children strength when they have to go to court to do the things they have to do. When they need strength and they need support, because a lot of them are scared when they're asked to go to court, and it can get pretty rough in court. But when we're sitting there and they can look at us and know that we're there supporting them, it gives them strength, and they can do what they have to do then.
Absolutely. Now, Big Noof, tell me a little bit about why you decided that becoming a guardian of our children was important to you.
Well, I'm actually a behavioral therapist by trade, and I went into the oil field, and I know that there's a lot of mishaps happening, and I stepped out of my field, as I said, to head to the oil field, and this was my way to give back. And especially it's nice to be able to work hand in hand with Clint in our own community and give back directly in our own community.
There's a lot of that goes on in our community. Everywhere you go across this magnificent land, you're going to run into motorcycle organizations that support our children, support our communities. This is who we are. And I think that it's really important that people understand we're just human beings that have a passion called motorcycling.
I'd also like to say that, yeah, we are the guardians of the children, but there are many organizations around that are motorcycle organizations that do this, and we work hand in hand with them. We're work very well with UBACA out of Edmonton, and we all work as one to help solve this problem.
Well, there's a lot of these children's groups, as you were saying. There's BACA, UBACA, there's Protection for the Unprotected, Bikers Against Bullying, and then Bullying Canada, and Stop Bully, and all these different organizations right across our country. It's not the first time that I've come to you guys talking about bullying and what happens there. Well, you know what? Sometimes parents are the bullies.
Oh, yeah.
Sad to say, but sometimes parents are the ones that are the bullies, and children need to know that they have rights, that they have a little bit of autonomy, and that they are allowed to be protected. So tell me some of the things that you've found over the career of doing this that have hurt your heart the most.
There's so many, but it's when you see a child who is not being treated properly, and you know that they feel so hurt and so down that they don't have the courage to speak up or to speak to somebody, and they have that nervousness that nobody probably will believe them, or things are going to get a whole lot worse. And that's where we like to step in and give these children the courage and help them get their backbone. We have a local client here in town. We have one person in town here who this person went through a traumatic time for a long time, and we did an interview a little bit ago, and to kind of compliment what you were saying about being hurt, I'd kind of like to compliment, because it's not all hurt. There's a lot of reward as well. When you walk to as I give an example, as you walk to your local Walmart, and a 9-year-old child runs up screaming Big Noof with this person's arms out and puts their arms around you and hugs you, even with a friend there with you, and to know this person, however long ago, would not do that, to know that we help this person get their voice and get their strength and their backbone, and to know that we help empower this child, it's the reward as well.
As a person who had been bullied as a child, who had been sexually abused, who'd been beaten, I didn't have that kind of support system as a kid growing up. So supporting all of these organizations through the Busted Knuckle, our newspaper, through the TV show, is kind of my way of helping make sure that children get empowered, because there is nothing worse in the world than being 10, 11 years old and feeling like there isn't a soul out there that gives a damn or cares whether you're here, whether you're not. This is where suicides started. This is where self-esteem issues huge. A lot of people have criticized, condemned me over the years because of my emotional outbursts or stuff like that. But you know what? I'm a survivor.
Yeah,
I'm what they would call a wounded warrior who has risen up out of the ashes and speaks lots on these abuse issues, because you know what? That's what shapes us as human beings. If we want to know what the problem is with 90% of our world, look at the way our children are being treated.
That's right. It's pretty rough out there. We've seen a lot since we've been in this. It's kind of hard to take a lot of it, but we do it, and we do it for the kids. That's solely why we do it.
And it does give you a little bit of sense of appreciation, if you will, for firefighters and police officers in a way. Because can you imagine how much horror they see?
Oh.
You see this much.
Yeah.
They see this much on a daily basis. So if people wanted to get involved with you, if they wanted to find out more about what the Guardians of the Children are, how would they find you?
Well, if they see us in the community, come on up and have a chat with us. Anybody that wears a Guardians, anybody wears a Guardians patch or a hoodie, or you see Guardians of any kind, come and chat to us. We also have a Facebook page that you can also get in touch with us, and we also have a helpline.
And what's that helpline?
Okay, the GOC Wetaskiwin hotline is 780-312-5720. That's 780-312-5720, and that's our direct hotline for the GOC Wetaskiwin.
And the person you'll be talking to will be our child liaison, and his name is Silverback.
So again, the Guardians of the Children, they're here today at the Reynolds Alberta Museum. But if you're out and about in the Wetaskiwin area, look them up, get involved any way you can. Let's protect and help our children flourish to be strong, capable adults.
Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, home to the Cabot Trail and the Cape Breton Bike Rally. With some of the most magnificent riding and the friendliest of people one can find anywhere, Cape Breton is the runner-up community in Canada's most rider-friendly community contest. Visit CapeBretonBikeRally.com to find out why. Voted as Canada's most rider-friendly community of the 2016 riding season is Port Alberni, British Columbia, home to one of the longest-running toy runs in Canada, the Port Alberni Toy Run. Bordered on the east by the Beaufort Mountains and on the west by the Pacific Ocean, the Vancouver Island Riders' Paradise, Port Alberni, is Canada's most rider-friendly community. Visit www.portalberni.ca to find out more.
Right now I'm being joined by the gentleman who is the child liaison for the Guardians of the Children. And Silverback, tell me a little bit about what it is that you specifically do.
I'm the one that originally goes and meets the child and the family and finds out the circumstances, what kind of things the child wants and needs to be secured, what kind of things the family needs, what kind of support they need. And then I'll track down the different areas to find out what we can do, where we can help, and who we can get involved to help with them to make sure that it's positive and bring the child back around, and, you know.
So it's a hard job. You got to see a lot of unsavory stuff. Let's talk about that unsavory stuff for a minute, because I don't think people really understand oftentimes the horrors that children experience, sometimes at the hands of people that they think should love them.
It's something that, you know, you need a good group of people to back you. When you hear some of the stories, it's things that you think are only in movies and, you know, shows and things like that. When you find out it's happening that close to home, and how much these children suffer, and how many times people close a blind eye, and don't want to admit it and see it. And when you actually do help these children out and you see them turn around and be able to smile again and be able to feel safe and enjoy and be a child, that's what it's all about. Right?
That sure is what it's all about. What are some of the supports that you've had to help a child with?
Emotional, suicidal, bullying, complete depression, where they want to hide and be away from everybody, scared to talk to people. I've even seen children hide in the back seat on the floor of a vehicle because they've been so scared that someone will see them or someone will do something to them.
It's absolutely horrible, and no child should ever have to live that way, folks. So if you can help, please take a few minutes out of your day, look up the Guardians of the Children, find them on Facebook, and if you can support a child in need, please do.